We're ready whenever you are.
All right. Good afternoon. Hope all is well with everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to say prayers to the people out there in the Boulder, Colorado area. I know that's been a tough deal with all the losses that have taken place, and I hope at some point in time that they can find peace. But with that said, I'm all ears.
Start first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, kind of a tale of two halves for the offense on Sunday. You guys had 4 straight touchdown drives and then sputtered a little bit in the second half. Pat has mentioned the challenge right now for the offense being just putting a consistent game together. How do you go about just kind of stressing that to the team, and how do you foresee that kind of playing out as you enter this last game and into the playoffs?
Well, you keep stressing fundamentals. We want to make sure that our guys understand the little things that it takes to help us to be the best team that we can possibly be. At times we're clicking and doing certain things, and at times we're not. So we got to go back always to ground zero. And that's the purpose of why we practice. We stressed that yesterday, and that was a big vocal point as well today. Fundamentals and just making sure we're detailing all the details.
Let's go next to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren. Darren, you got us?
Bueller.
All right, Darren, we'll come back to you. Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Going back to the 3rd and 5, they're on your final possession before, Cincinnati brings the blitz, and Mahomes mentioned that, he was looking for DeMarcus on that play. What were you kind of expecting from the Bengals in that situation? And what kind of freedom does Patrick have at a spot like that when it comes to either, audibles or hot reads in a position there?
Well, we were expecting cover 0. They did a good job with their defense, but obviously we just got to make the play. We didn't make the play. Credit to Cincinnati. They did a heck of a job. I'm not going to take anything away. And what we're doing at the line of scrimmage is exactly what we're asking the quarterback to do. Obviously, we thought we had an opportunity to make a play. We didn't make the play. They did. So at the end of the day, our guys just got to make sure that we're doing all of the little things necessary for us to be at our best at all times. So we didn't get the job done. So that is a very valuable life lesson throughout this journey. And the thing about it, just like I said early in the year when we were going through our struggles, if we handle it the right way, it's going to pay big dividends off for us as we continue moving forward.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, Happy New Year. Hope you're well, man.
Happy New Year's to you as well.
Hey, Darrell Williams, obviously in the middle of a career year, and you've had him now. This is his 4th season. 2 questions here for you. Has he done anything, or how much has he done so far this year that has surprised you or may not have surprised you? And then I'll have another one for you.
Well, first and foremost, Darrell has always been a consistent football player. Darrell is always one of those guys who's going to do it the right way. He's going to do it exactly how you want it done, and he doesn't take anything for granted. Now, I thought Darrell played his best game as a professional this past weekend, and I was very proud of him. But just like I was proud of him, he's also disappointed that we didn't find a way to win the game. So now we just got to continue to grow with him. I think the kid has shown that he belongs in this league and that he can be a productive player. So we're counting on him moving forward. Obviously, we got some other guys that are doing some good things. And, we just want to make sure that group is as strong as we need it to be moving forward.
In your opinion, what is his ceiling? Because right now he's a complimentary role to CEH, but what is his ceiling?
You know what? I don't have that answer. I think the sky is the limit for him. I think Darrell can be as good as he wants to be, and I think that he has a lot of football left in him. So I think over time he's just going to continue to grow, and I think that he's just going to continue to improve throughout his entire career. But the thing I love about him, the kid is a humble, hardworking kid that just wants to find a way to help us to be successful. That's the thing I respect and love about him.
Last 2, we'll go Seren and then Nate. Go ahead, Seren.
Brad, and I'll have a follow-up. Coach, I know I'm asking in generalities because obviously the game didn't end with the offense out on the field. So, look, I know as fans, everybody sits back and, they've played Madden or they watched a game last week and we've got it all figured out clock management-wise. And there's a lot more going on when you got to call a play, you got to get it in. So I want to preface this by saying I understand there's a lot going on, right? And there's a lot of people on that headset. What is the process as far as input of ideas to whoever it is, whether it's Steve making the defensive calls or you and Andy making the offensive calls? How does the pecking order work on who can just pop in and say, hey, I got an idea, let's do this or that?
You know what? We have a great line of open communication on our headsets. Obviously, with the head coach being a head coach, he always has 51% of the vote. So there's times where we just going to sit there and have a conversation in between series. Hey, fellas, what do we like? And we'll sit there and jot down ideas. Hey, this would be good versus this particular coverage. So there's always an open line of communication. And then as we get into that series, now we already have everything figured out. And if there's something that, hey, you know what? They did something different. What do we like in this particular situation? You know, we might ask and someone may give us an answer, or, hey, this is what we like. Let's keep it moving. But there's an open line, and we pride ourselves on over communicating with clarity. So there hasn't been any issues, and we continue moving forward. We just got to make sure that our guys are being at their best when their best is needed.
And I know you only get 17 plus playoff games, whatever playoff games you get as far as game situations. And when you're as successful as your team has been, a lot of times you don't have end of the game stuff that's going on. So how do you guys work on, what's the process of getting repetitions of handling end game situations? Is it something you do every week? Is it a bye-week thing? Is it something that's concentrated in the off season? How does that process work?
I mean, it's all the above. There's always a contingency plan. I mean, we work on that stuff every week. Okay. There's always open discussions about it on Friday. We always practice certain scenarios that we put our players through, so they're tested and making sure that they're prepared mentally as well as physically to handle those particular situations. And there's also a number of things that we do on the Saturday, but our guys are always locked in to those in the game type situations. That way, now it ain't by chance that guys have come in and made the particular play that we're expecting them to make. It's because they've rehearsed it. All right. They've learned to make second effort a habit because we practice it. We've seen it on tape. We've rehearsed it a number of times throughout the entire year.
We'll go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric, I have two questions. The first is, how do you see, in terms of their relationship, Clyde and Daryl helping one another? Daryl for Clyde and then Clyde for Daryl. And then Brad will have a second question.
You know what, Nate? I think that's a trick question because the LSU Tigers, obviously, they both were recruited. So no telling what went on in that recruiting process, but I'm joking about that. But those guys are great friends. They're both from the booth. You know, one's from Baton Rouge, one is from New Orleans. So they have a lot in common. And those guys have a great working relationship. And they're always talking. They're always spending time together. And the thing that I love about not just them, but that whole entire room, those guys coach each other and they help each other through certain situations. And so it's a unique relationship that they have. And then if you knew their coach, Greg Lewis, who was a special individual, I use that term loosely, but Greg's doing a hell of a job. But they do a great job together. I love what they do. I love what they bring to the table. And they just add a different spice because of the relationship that they've had with the LSU Ties.
And Eric, for my second question, you mentioned fundamentals earlier. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, when it comes to Patrick, before the ball leaves his hand, where do you think he's improved the most fundamentally or in his thought process before obviously releasing the football?
You know what? Just making sure he's taking what is given. I think he's done a great job with that. And I think if you just look at the back's numbers as receptions that have shown you that, hey, you know what? He's conscious of what's taking place in the back end. Now he's finding his outlets. Now those guys can catch. They're doing a better job of being in position for him to throw it. Now they're there. He's gaining they're gaining his trust. And now those guys can get vertical after the catch. So that's something I think that he's processing because he's seeing all the different things that's taking place in the back end and how teams are defending us.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you guys. You guys take care.
You too. All right, guys, we got Coach Tobe coming up next.